Hey there guys and girls, and welcome back to our course on Tableau. In our previous session, we found out which one of our sales reps created the highest profit margin for the central region, and before that, we took a look at which one of our sales reps sold the highest number of units within the central region. In this session, we're going to take this information that we created and we're going to organize it and make it look a little bit better to the user's eye and a little bit easier to interpret. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to make a number of formatting changes to our existing work sheet right here. The very first thing that I want to kind of run home here is our users came back to us last time and they told us, hey, we want to see the profit as the main point here. We don't want to see the number of units because the profits are the ones that tell us how much money we're making or who's making the most money. So the best way to do that is, obviously we showed the colors here, but it's kind of hard to pinpoint and find those colors, right? Because they're kind of randomly oriented. So what we want to do is we want to sort our profit in the highest to lowest, and what that will do is you will notice it's going to take away the order of the units sold, and that's totally fine because what's more important here is who's making more money rather than who's selling more things, right? So what we want to do here is we basically want to come up to our rep name, since that is the thing that is on rows, and we want to right click it and we want to sort it, okay? And currently we're sorting our rep name by the number of records in descending order, and we can see that is we have a descending or sort order here. We went ahead and clicked sort, right? So we see the descending sort order here, and when we see the sort by, we can see the field that it is sorting by is the number of records and the sum of the number of records, which is also this field right here, right? So let's go ahead and change that to show the sales profit and to sort it in the same way. And the way that we'll do that is if we come in here and we click this down arrow next to number of records, we will have a list of all the different fields that we have within our data set. And what we're looking for is our custom created field, which was sales profit. So let's go ahead and find that sales profit field. That would be the last one down here for me, is the sales profit. We'll click that and we will leave the aggregation as sum, since we're trying to find out the total number of dollar value sales that someone did, and we were trying to sort by that number in maximum to minimum order, which we are going to start at the top and have the highest number of profits at the top and the lowest number of profits at the bottom. So let's go ahead and see what this does to our data here. If we could apply. Wow, look at that. Really cool, right? So basically what we see now is the highest number of profit by sales up here on the top and in descending order by color. And as we remember, the sum of sales profit was on color, so we are seeing that dark blue at the top and slowly gradually decreasing to that light blue. And now it's much more apparent which one of our sales reps are making the highest dollar value of sales. And we see that same trend right here, the 602.30 and the 33.7. We'll see that 602.30 right at the top here in sales profit on our tooltip, and all the way at the bottom we will see that sales profit of 33.70. Now, the second thing that we want to do is we want to fix our dollar format. So we see sales profit in 33.7 here, and we 602.3, and what we're talking about is dollars here. So we don't want it to look like this because this just looks like a random number, and we don't even understand what that means. So let's go ahead and format our number. So the way that we want to do that is anytime you format any number in Tableau, the way that you do that is to just find that field. So right here, the sum of sales profit is the one that we want to change. So let's go ahead and find the sum of sales profit that's being used within our visualization here, not the field itself, but the actual use of that field. Right now it's on color, so let's go ahead and click that down arrow, or you can right click it, okay, and click format right here. It's this option here. And what you'll see is Tableau will automatically pop up this window here, which is the format sum of sales profits. So what we want to do is we want to basically show dollars here, and we're actually not working on an axis because our sales profit is not anywhere within our visualization. It's just on color. So what we want to do is we just want to go to the pane option up here, not the axis. We want to go to the pane option, and in here the default is the number that we want to change. All right, so right now it's a number 123, 456, and all that means is that it's in typical number format. We want to come down here and we want to set it as a currency, and we can do currency standard or currency custom for different countries or different types of decimal places, or to display units in thousands, millions, billions, or we could do a currency standard, which allows Tableau to calculate depending on the number of decimals there are and the values that we have within our data set to come up with what is the best way to represent that. And as we can see, we are now seeing that dollar sign and 2 decimal places within Tableau. So you can also do it in currency custom, where you can change the number of decimal places. So right now we have 2, right? So keep a look at this number here and see how it changes as I increase the decimal places. You can see 33.670, and you can see the decimal places just tend to increase from there. So let's go ahead and leave them on 2 decimal places. We'll use currency standard, since in this case Tableau did a great job. And if you need to change that, you can always come in here and change that, and you will see the same thing as far as percentages, custom, complete custom, or number, or automatic, which was the setting we originally had. So we use currency standard in this case here. All right, so that's basically it. Now we are seeing on our tooltip that the dollar value is now in dollars and cents, and the number of records are whole numbers. So now our users will have no confusion in telling that we are talking about money when we talk about sales profit, and it's very apparent that these are where the dollars are. All right, the third thing that we want to change here is we want to give our sheet a useful name. Sheet 1 is totally fine because that's what we're using here to create our visual, but when you start working later in dashboards and stories in Tableau, you want to be able to differentiate between sheets, especially when we talk about things like advanced filtering and actions and highlighting, which we'll get into in future sessions. So in this case, let's get into the habit of organizing our sheets. So in this, what we can call this sheet is, you can just go down to the sheet here, you can right click it and you can rename, or you can go up here and rename it up here by right clicking and saying edit title. Now it's important to remember that these are actually not the same functions. Edit title by right clicking is not the same thing as right clicking the sheet and renaming the sheet. If you were to rename the sheet, you'll automatically rename the title to whatever the sheet name is. So in this case, let's go ahead and rename the sheet and give it a useful name, such as Profits by Central Region. And you can automatically see we now change the Profits by Central Region sheet name down here, and up top we see Profits by Central Region as the title for the sheet. Now if I was to, just for example's sake, if I was to right click this and hit edit title, you can see that we're using the sheet name in this case as the name of the title. If I was to take away sheet name and call it Profits North, for example, right, Tableau will not stop us from doing that. So you'll see that Profits North is now what we're seeing as the title, but down here the sheet name is actually Profits by Central Region. So we don't want to make that mistake, okay? So I want to go ahead and click the back arrow here, all right, to undo that, and we will now again have our sheet name as our title for our worksheet. All right, so that's basically it. Now, fourth thing that we want to change here is clean up our axis a little bit. This number of records is just white and it's kind of bland. So let's go ahead and add some shading to this and make this a little bit bigger so that it looks a little better. And what you can do is you can right click that, all right, and go ahead and click format again. Okay, and in this case, we are working with an axis and not a pane, right? So we'll go to axis here and we can go and click shading. And currently white is selected, but let's give it a little bit more something that matches our workbook. So we'll give it like this light blue here, for example. All right, so if I was to go back, we can now see that we have shading in a light blue color, and we'll go ahead and change the font as well and make this a little bit bigger, and maybe we can bold it as well. Okay, so that makes it look a little bit more attractive. We can even change the number of records here. We can change the font color for that, and you could just select something that you feel will look good for us. So we'll keep this dark blue. It kind of fits into our theme here. All right, so that's basically what we did in terms of formatting the axis, and that's basically it. All right, just a quick recap. So in this session, we went over 5 different things. The very first thing was sorting by profit, and the way that we did that is we sorted the actual rep name by the profit, since that is on color. We went ahead and right-clicked our rep name. We went to sort. We did a descending order on the field sales profit by the sum, and we hit OK, and that basically threw everything here in the order in terms of highest to lowest profits. The second thing we did was we fixed the dollar format for our numbers, and the way we did that is we found our sales profit pill here, all right, the same thing that's using this legend. We right-clicked it, we went to format, and we actually changed the number format for it, which was in the pane tab. We went to numbers and we selected currency standard for that one. The next thing we did was we named the sheet. Okay, we named it Profits by Central Region down here, and that automatically reflected in the title name here. So by general practice, you should always rename your sheet and the title will always follow. All right, because it would make less sense to have the title name something completely different than the sheet. And there are cases where you'll need to name them differently when you're looking at dashboards and trying to fit a lot of words in one area, but we'll look at that in a future session, all right? And the final thing that we looked at here was shading our axis. And the way that we did that was we right-clicked our axis here and we clicked format, and then we went to axis tab and we changed the color of our font, the size, as well as the shading color which I gave a light blue. You can give whatever you'd like. All right, so that's basically what we went over in this session, guys. I think that was pretty helpful, and our worksheet looks a lot better now, and it makes a lot more sense in terms of the question we were trying to answer for our stakeholders, which was who made the highest profits. And we can also see who made the highest number of units sold just by sorting on that unit sold by going up to the rep name and the sort, and you can change that field there. All right, guys, so that being said, I'm going to wrap this little fun session up. I want you to go in here and play around with these colors and different types of sorting options and sort and try to make this workbook your own. Don't do the exact same thing I'm doing, because I want to make sure that we get your creative juices flowing. And the more that you mess around in Tableau and explore the different venues that you have in terms of your creative abilities, the better and more personalized you can make your style. And everyone has their own style. So that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this up, and I will see you in our next session. Thank you.